Welcome everybody, we're back. We've got last game of the ESA Swiss stage. A winner of this game is making their way into playoffs. This is Amguns reporting in with the lovely Travi. Travi, how are you doing, man?
I am doing absolutely amazing. You know, we're finally here, end of Swiss stage, round number 5. The games up until this point, they've been banging, they've been exciting, there's been some upsets, expected results, and we're finally here on our final game, and we're going to be sending one of these two remaining teams to play us Amguns, and I'm telling you, I couldn't be more excited.
I cannot wait either. The games on ESA have been absolutely phenomenal. I haven't been able to cast as much of them as I'd like, but it's all good. I know you've been here, you've been watching all the games. Do you want to tell us a little bit of the history on how some of these teams have got to this point?
Yeah, so obviously we've had a lot of great games, as you can see across the Swiss stage. Summarise the Swiss stage for the viewers that are new here. You win 3 games before you lose 3 games. That's the rough gist of it. As you can see, top of your screen, all of our teams that have gone and qualified on through. We've had some really great games. I think back to last week, me and Golly, we had a phenomenal game between I can't remember who it was now, but we had a that sounds really bad, but we had a really great game, 47 rounder, unlimited overtime, and we're finally here today. MolotovGang, no offense, 2 remaining teams. I think we've both have a lot of expectations on them to be getting through to playoffs, but only one of them can be going on through this point. And we've got a final best of 3 through to be sending us all the way into the playoffs as well.
And it's unlimited overtime as well. As you said, that last game, these crucial games are unlimited overtime. So we might see some of these games going the distance, going all the way, which will make things very exciting for us. So let's take a look at the bands. Let's see what the maps are going to be in this best of 3 series, so we can see where all the action is going to be unfolding, Travi.
Yeah, map bands, really exciting for this one. I'm looking at I'm just going to cast my eyes through the bands and go straight towards these 2 picks here because there's a little bit to talk about both of them here. Consulate, this is the pick of No Offense, and right now, since March, they're sitting 3 and 2 on it. And the reason they're picking Consulate, because it's sort of a mid-preference map for them. It's not something they love, it's not something they hate. The reason why they want to play it is because of MolotovGang's recent results in it. 1 and 6 lately. They've played it 7 times, only been able to win it just the once. So for No Offense, they've obviously done their homework. And the same can be said on the other side as well for MolotovGang, who are going with a skyscraper pick. Now, recently, they're 3 and 1 on it, so doing fairly well on it, of course. And we look towards their opponent there on the side of No Offense. They've not played it at all. It's essentially a perma ban for them. So yet again, another really great map. And then we look to Lair at the end of things. It's a balanced map between the two. No offense, they do quite like to play it. MolotovGang don't shy away from it either. Should we get there, I think it's going to be a great way to end up the series. And obviously, I'm going to ask you, how are you feeling about it?
That all of these maps are extremely defender-sided. We've got basically 3 massively defender-sided maps, but this is console. Here on ESA, it does not matter what the map is. I'm just hoping that we get some sheer gunfights, some proper action here on all of these maps, and I'm hoping these teams can prove us wrong. I'm hoping they can show us how well you can attack on some of these maps, Travi, even though historically they are pretty defender-sided. So that's what I'm looking forward to, as we are almost ready to get into this game.
Yeah, and as you say, these are some really defender-sided maps. Consulate, this is going to be the important one for the start here. I believe it is going to be MolotovGang starting on the defensive side for the map. So for them, it's all about how many rounds can they get across the line. And more importantly, for the side of No Offense on their attack, how many rounds can they get? Because really, you need to set yourself up for success in that first half on Consulate. It's really crucial that you're not going out in that first half, especially if you're on the attack. You want to be seeing probably, I'd say, I think about 2 rounds is about a good estimate to sort of be sitting at for the teams. They're obviously a 3-3 half. I'd argue the defense could do a little bit more. And obviously, I look towards what these teams like to play here. Both of them really like their shields.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that shields are so good right now, Travi, especially on Consulate Skyscraper. These single operators single-handedly can unlock the door for you. They can get yourself into sight. They can be that win condition that you need to crack the nutshells that is these defender-sided maps. But we've got everybody ready. We are going to get this game underway. So into Consulate we go, Travi.
Into Consulate, indeed, to the start of the series through. And, well, it wouldn't be a map of Siege without some operator bans to be starting us off here. MolotovGang, of course, going to be the first ones to take out an operator, going to be getting rid of an attacker. Now, as I'm going to wait to see what it's going to be, it's going to be the Blackbeard. And that one, well, I'm not going to say I jinxed it, but it's no surprising. Both these teams really do not like to play this Blackbeard, or ban him out, sorry. Both of them are quite a fan of this Blackbeard ban. Second one, it's a bit up in the middle. Could see a Ying, could see a Dokkaebi. It is going to be the Dokkaebi. No offense, they typically like to ban those more aggressive operators, those characters that are good for clearing out roams, for getting those aggressive plays. No surprise there that Dokkaebi's taken off the board.
Still available. It's kind of crazy that in competitive we almost always see a Monty Blackbeard ban. So the fact that we've deviated from that just a little bit is really nice to see. Valkyrie is a great ban for Consulate as well. The amount of vertical gameplay that's available on this map for pre-placed C4s and just to get a little bit fruity from below makes a lot of sense why we've seen the Valkyrie ban. So we'll have to wait and see who our final defensive ban is going to be, Travi.
That is indeed going to be the mirror there. Coming out from MolotovGang. Normally that's a ban that No Offense tend to go for here, but for this time around, it's going to be, of course, coming out from the other side. Now, Mirror, we all know she's an operator, great for holding down those areas, has some really powerful spots here on Consulate, top floor, bottom floor, all around it in general. She's an extremely strong operator, and yet again, it's just no surprise to see her. A fairly safe ban, of course, one we see quite often, and one that certainly her loss is going to be felt throughout this entire map.
Yeah, Mirror is, she's just kind of crazy. Probably, I think everyone everywhere has felt her wrath at some point or another. But it's going to be to this top floor that we go first for the side of MolotovGang. And a little bit of an unorthodox roster, to say the least. I like the fact that we've got the Mozzie, you know, to get aggressive, try and hunt down some of those drones to protect himself in his roam game. But other than that, the Pogmats, I cannot wait to see if we get a little Pogmat down. They can single-handedly win you the rounds. So very interesting for a top floor loadout. The other thing that I'd point out is maybe the lack, or sorry, the abundance of plant denial. 3 different C4s, Travi, on MolotovGang's roster here.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be crucial on this objective, because when I think of this top floor here on Consulate, I immediately think towards that window on the left of the screen right now. That, of course, being quite a common plant positions for a lot of these teams. And, of course, when you normally bring operators like a Smoke, a Goyo to try and deny that plant, look at the side of MolotovGang. They don't have either of that available to them, so they're going to need something else to address that problem. I think that's the idea behind all of these C4s, and hopefully it's going to lead to some explosive action in here.
That's all we can wish for, as it's nice that we've got the Buck as well to offer some vertical gameplay in this lineup. Looks like the Buck and the Grim are going to be sort of the key operators to sort of make this execute happen as we move towards the later parts of the round. And this is really good work from Striker, just using a little bit of ghost pressure, just opening up some stuff on the complete opposite side of the map to his team, just to give MolotovGang a couple of different avenues to worry about later on the round.
Yeah, I'm a real fan of this Striker pick, right? A real operator is the definition of jack of all trades. Can do a little bit of everything, nothing exceptionally well, but because you have so many options there, if you lose someone else in an early engagement, it means that Striker's there available to somewhat fill in that role to the best of their ability. So, great operator pick, and as you say, Guns, it's going to be key for No Offense there to keep that Grim, keep that Buck alive. Exactly why the Nomad's coming in to try and deny that flank. But the Buck is going to be the first one to be taken off the board there. Nikon's going to find Russ for the first one. And immediately it's MolotovGang off to a good start here. Or from above, that's a difficult angle to be dying to there.
Yeah, and that's all of the verticality taken off the board. They now can't clear this mute who's tucked into long desk. Grim is just waiting for this guy just to get aggressive, but they need to now either rotate somebody below or nade this guy out. It seems like Striker's going to be the man to make that happen, as somebody is rotating, trying to help Grim get in here. But that's their plan, pretty much falling through the gaps as they now can't dislodge these defenders as the flank comes in as well. So that is going to be a 4v4 situation, Travis, in the midway through round.
And it's a better position here for No Offense now, right? They've finally gotten that answer back. So we are back even 4 versus 4. One of those C4s is going to be burnt. Only one does remain in the pocket of Virax on that ward. And you can see immediately that's going to be triggering the popper here from No Offense. However, with the Grim Launcher in hand, unable to get it with the shotgun, but it's an air jab in hand. Gold is good for the cover, but quite unable to save the teammate from below. And this is the impact of losing that Buck early on being felt here. If Gold had the vertical open in that position, you would have been able to rip MolotovGang to shreds, but no, you lost the vertical, and now you find yourself in this 2 versus 3 position. And you can see, despite the hopping being available, it's going to be really difficult to commit to. C4 is going to be thrown, and just like that, I think it's round over at this point. No Offense. You do get one back, but there's more swinging, and I think that's all she wrote.
Yeah, Rudy's going to get caught swinging, but it is a consolation as the down player is going to fall as well. I think the air jab's actually been jammed, because Mutu's got aggressive, swung right past the air jab to deny that plant. The air jab ended up working out way too late, so a little bit of a misplay in utility from the Nomad. to allow the Mute to re-aggress, as that's going to be all she wrote as the last kill going to the Mozzie. But yeah, just the execute wasn't quite where it needed to be, but lovely work from the defense to completely shut down that push through the site window.
Oh yeah, they had such a great job there on that defense, keeping out the attackers where they could and making sure to get those early impactful picks. And I've got to double them up and really question that Nomad pick, right? The way it was being used on that window, you're sending it in almost like something you would see from a Ying, from a Candela. Whereas, of course, then you head, of course, in, let's say, another objective. Why aren't we bringing that Ying instead? The way that Nomad was being used there, she's not an aggressive operator. There's a delay from when those air jabs are sent in, and on top of that, as you said, handguns, they can be affected by mute jammers. Something like a Candela, something like a Sense, hell, even just a normal flashbang. That's not the case for those pieces of utility.
Yeah, generally speaking, if we're going to go for that site window push, a Capital, a Ying, a Grim, and a Buck are very, very popular picks. The idea is basically to chuck the kitchen sink at it and see what sticks to help your teammate get in and plant. It's good that Twitch did have the vertical control, but it's losing out on the Buck has been the biggest problem. Normally, all of those defenders that are within C4 range of denying the plant, you can buck them away from below. But obviously, the defense were well, good and ready for someone to make their entry in below, as you saw that lovely vertical angle from the Mute, caught out the Buck early, and they still try, fair play to them, sticking to their guns, still going for that plan that they had in mind. But as you said, if you bring the Ying, it gives you a little bit more depth to your lineup. So that way, if you lose a key operator, you can still make it work because you've got more utility to work with. So I think, for no offense, coming into this second round, more utility is going to be the name of the game for them.
Yeah, more utility and certainly need to be using it well. This time around, of course, we're going to be heading towards the basement. Of course, different objective, different requirements here. The vertical game is just as important, but rather than looking upwards, you're going to be looking downwards. That's why the Rams coming in. And no offense, I think they've really been shook by the early loss of that Buck in the previous round because they're doubling down on this vertical, right? They're bringing the Ram on Aloe Meister's pocket, and they've got the Buck as well. So they want to make sure that that floor above the B bomb site there is going to be getting opened up. Of course, it doesn't mean you forego the Nomad or something else, but that's where the Jackal comes in because there's going to be a roam presence here from MolotovGang. Jackal's immediately, Vigil, sorry, immediately saying that there is going to be one, and it's going to be key that they can clear it out before they can make it work on this vertical.
100%. Like this basement site, the vertical is king. But you can just see here, Vigil's getting really aggressive, looking to make something happen here, but he's going to try to make his great escape, but he might get cut off here, Travi.
Yeah, he's a real difficult spot right now, but just about to able to slip by the window, gets through, and that's good play there from the Vigil. It's all about, it's not maybe about staying alive throughout the whole round, but it's about taking down as many attackers as you can, and more importantly, burning that clock down, because as long as you're a question mark in the back of mind of the attack, you're going to be doing great work. However, down below, Pires is able to take down the Goyo. That is a great start here for the attack, and already right in the wrongs of round number 1.
Yeah, he is going to make his great escape out of the lobby as well. Maybe get a little quick restart in to get some more frames. But lovely work from the Jackal. That's what they brought the roam clip operator to do, to deal with the roam, and they've been rewarded, Travis. But looks like these lot are going to start fighting each other as Frost finds a lovely trade back onto no offense, as they're already next to the slate here, Travis.
Yeah, they're in the objective, but I'm looking above, and there's still roamers to be cleared out. The vertical's not been touched, and as you can see, these defenders, they're not feeling any pressure at all. Nikon's going to be swinging out, takes down Pires, and I'm just wondering here, what was the idea here? By no offense, you're charging it. You don't really have anything available to be pressuring the defenders. And as you can see, the players that they do have, they're coming in individually. They're coming in isolated. Variox takes down Gold. It's 2 versus 4, making it 1 versus 4. Aljo Meister, we know you can do great things, but is this 1 versus 3 a little bit too far-fetched here? Because, no offense, they've just kind of gone in and they've just been sent right back out.
Yeah, 1v3 situation here for Ram to try and make something happen. Trying to juggle these 1v1 angles, trying to get something going. As Bandit hits the deck, a lovely trade coming in from Vigil to completely shut down the round. And Travi, they didn't even go above. They had all this vert and didn't use it.
No, we were both looking at how much commitment, no offense, wanted to take advantage of there. Of course, losing it in the first round, that vertical, so really doubling down on it for the second round. And then they just don't bother. Just don't even give it them thought of day. Just ignore it. Go straight to the objective with Roma still running out above. And you can see the defense on site. They're sitting there really comfortably, laid back in their chairs with a cocktail. Totally chill. No pressure in the world. They just wait for the attackers to come to them and cut them immediately down. MolotovGang are phenomenal there for reading into the situation, but I really am starting to question No Offense here because, this is their map pick. And these two attacks we've seen so far, they've not had the right ideas at a foundational level.
Yeah, they kind of just got lost in their ways just a little bit in that mid round, as there wasn't really a mid round. They went from roam clear, we got our pick, to straight up hit the execute and see what we can happen. And they did the right thing. They brought that utility that they needed. They had the right tools for the job. They kind of just forgot to use them. But this is where we've got to give credit to MolotovGang. Because of that lack of pressure on the vertical gameplay, defenders can feel like they can get aggressive, get away with cheeky plays, as you saw with the Bandit. Because there was no pressure from the hatch or that vertical gameplay, Bandit was like, I can just swing onto yellow here with no care in the world, and got rewarded for his aggressiveness. So I really like the way MolotovGang are bringing the heat to No Offense. They're being aggressive on their defense. They're showing that they're here to play, and they're playing really, really well, Travi.
Oh yeah, MolotovGang, so great to start them. They're balancing the aggression with keeping those defenders on the objective, and it's just a very cohesive at the minute is the word I'd use to describe how MolotovGang are playing. They've got every possible entryway covered. The players who are supposed to be getting those entry engagements, they're getting them successfully, and in most cases, they're getting them without any trades coming in from No Offense, which is very much the sign of a good entry player. And then as well, you've got those anchors on your back line, and they're also doing the job. And it just across the board for MolotovGang, it's looked really, really impressive so far. And it just feels a little bit of a step above what we're seeing from No Offense right now, because we're seeing these ideas coming through in the operator lineup. And then, as you said, Guns, they just completely skipped what we'd normally see in a mid round there. And on a map like Consulate, that can be so defender sided. You can't be skipping those crucial steps because you're going to be going into the site with massive disadvantages. And round two was an example of exactly how that hack goes.
The other thing I really want to give credit to, right, is the two-man roam game coming out from MolotovGang. Although the Goyo was picked off early, I really like the strat to send two people above and to roam together with each other. A lot of the times we see on maps that are very defender-sided, we send one person to roam. They go all the way to top floor, and because they're alone, they get picked off very easily, resulting in a 5v4 disadvantage. That's not what MolotovGang have gone with. They've decided to send two people back-to-back to roam together. And although the Goyo was picked off, the Vigils managed to waste a lot of time and make his way back to the site alive, because he knows that they were hunting his other roaming partner and that he could be a bit of a thorn in the side of No Offense. So I really want to give credit to the MolotovGang here with thinking through their strategy. It's really good work to see that they want to send, dedicate two people to roaming, because you can't give that vertical gameplay away for free. But now that we're moving to piano here, Travi, what are you hoping to see?
Well, I'm immediately hoping to see that double down on that roam game. You can immediately see Variox there is going to be going on towards the Scopus. Now, Piano is an objective that you often, despite being in the middle of the map, you will have to fight over quite a lot of it, and most of it. The Scopus is such a great operator for it. You can position one shell above, and then you can have the other one on the objective itself, or in the basement, and you can just use that to be constantly applying pressure to the attack, moving around positions. And the key thing there really is the time wasting, right? So I'm looking at the side of No Offense. Obviously, they do have 6-pick available to them. So they, of course, can switch off of this. But I want to talk about that Amaru pick, right? Because the aggression is where No Offense, I feel, have been struggling a little bit so far. It's one of the areas where they have been. Just getting fast with that Amaru, you combine it with Priors, you get that Jackal scan going, you know where the player is. Then you sandwich him in between Jacqueline and Amaru. You can pin some movement in, take him out. It's going to work. I'm quite curious to see how this site plays out. But I do worry a little bit for No Offense right now. It's a tertiary bomb site, isn't it, Amguns? They need to be getting it over the line.
Yeah, this is your best chance you're going to get at getting some rounds on the board, is what's considered a tertiary bomb site. The only problem is on Consulate, even the tertiary bomb site can be very difficult to attack due to that vertical pressure that you spoke about. The only issue that I can see for the Silent MolotovGang is it doesn't look like they've got a lot of vert or shotguns in the lineup to make use of all that vertical gameplay. But I really like the fact you highlighted the Amaru in this case. Fight fire with fire. Get aggressive yourself. Start to make a little bit more aggressive plays and get some confidence into your roster. All it takes is for you to start getting some opening kills here and there, getting some confidence going through your team, and then those rounds can start snowballing like there's no tomorrow. So hopefully this Amaru, this aggressive lineup that No Offense are bringing will work out to their advantage.
Yeah, and it's good, and it'll be a big mental boost as well. In my mind, an operator such as Amaru, she's not always the most effective operator. We will say that about her. But one thing that she certainly can be is she's one of these operators who, let's just say, when you win a round off the back of an Amaru hop in, right? When you send your Amaru straight in through a window, you immediately know, you know, and when it works out for you, it does so good for the mental because she's really flashy as an operator. You know, it's not a statistic, it's not a number, but she certainly is going to be a very flashy, very fancy operator. And as you say, Guns, winning a round off of the back of that, it's going to be so good for no offense. And if they do it in that kind of really aggressive fashion, it could totally start to tumble into more round victories, into more rounds, and then they can look to equalize this one, possibly even tie out the half as a whole.
Exactly that. This is your chance. This is the chance to get around on the board, get some confidence going as we are making our way right back into the game as players finally managed to make his way back in. And I'm really curious to see if we're going to see that vertical gameplay. I want to see lots of vert being made. There is nowhere in this site that you can plant that's not visible from above, as it is going to be a 5v4 Travi that we see coming up here.
Yeah, and that is going to be really difficult for MolotovGang to work with, right? Because immediately you're going into the strike. You've had to see them switch off of the Scopos over towards, I believe it was the Legion now being brought out. Yeah, it's the Legion. So immediately a lot of operators that are going to be really difficult to deal with for the attack, but also it means that MolotovGang, they're going to have to be more careful with their lineup, right? Because 5 players already isn't a lot. With the amount of utility that you can bring on an attack, 5 operators to deal with that is not a lot. 4 is even less, and you can see MolotovGang are here going to have to go for general picks that are sort of more jack of all trades, and it is going to limit their options.
And what better situation to find yourself in if you're no offense? If this wasn't in their advantage already, it definitely is now. But the thing they need to be careful of is because you already have that man advantage, don't throw it away. Don't get overconfident. Don't try and think, oh, we're just in a 5v4, we can steamroll this round. Because all it takes is a little bit of complacency and you're right back into a 4v4 situation. As Jackal looking to make his entry in towards the admin side traffic.
Yep, Jackal going to be looking to make his way on him through now. Of course, defense, they're going to play a little bit more of a conservative game here. I feel they can't be giving that one away, because if you give away that early engagement without a response, you'll immediately get a 3 versus 5 for the team. And just as I say, that's not what you want to be doing. What a MolotovGang go do. ESA's going to be the one to go down. Nikon gets one back on, but thought that was wallbang working out for a second, but no, not quite. Regardless, though, this defense on the top floor, they're going to be retreating back a little bit. INET needs to hold on to this for longer here, because if you're running away from this top floor, leaving it in a minute, that is not a good position to be in for the defense, and the attack are going to have more than enough time to collapse on the site.
Lovely echo angle being held by the Goyo. That long line of sight in towards where the Buck is pushing. But initial success. You traded the Bravo for one of the remaining defenders to give yourself a 4v3 advantage, as Goyo's going to get tagged up elsewhere on that top floor. He is alone on that top floor and is going to make his great escape. So full vertical control now available for no offense to use onto the site itself.
And being able to burn an extra 30 seconds up there on the top floor, for no offense, for MolotovGang, that's going to be absolutely huge there. They need to make sure in this numbers disadvantage that they find themselves in 3 or 4. They're working for every little bit they get. And code up, why are we droning there? Why are we feeding them to Nikon, tripling around? And it's something back the other way. MolotovGang, and now in the advantage situation. Sure, no offense might have the top floor, but they're not able to make anything with it. They do have the yellow pin to see the player, but look at that, they can't quite find the elimination. Eventually, Prize is going to be able to close it out. Verax does get one back, but it's still no offense in this 1 versus 2 now, and MolotovGang, they can just play this one out here.
They just forgot the hatch was open. Amanu's just decided to go AFK right in the line of sight as Malusi, with line of sight of Malusi there. So just completely gifting the round back to MolotovGang. Crazy stuff coming out here, Travi.
That it's just one of those mistakes you're going to look back on and go, why was I there in that position? That is massive there for the side of MolotovGang, because like a lot of teams in this stage of the tournament, give them an inch, they're going to take a mile. However, what they don't have a lot of here is the clock. Bryce has to be moving up here, has to get going quickly, because you only got 5 seconds, but you're looking the wrong way. Aina from behind, going to be taking him out, going to be taking him out, and MolotovGang, I feel like they were handed that round on a bit of a silver platter there, right? But that Amaru facing the wrong way immediately gave them the opportunity to swing it back round, and MolotovGang did exactly that, not to mention they started the round in a 4 versus 5.
Yeah, you can't be throwing away 5v4 advantages like that. As no offense, just like surely you see the hatches open, but again, MolotovGang, they're taking everything that they can get. Whatever opportunity is presented to them, they are capitalizing on it and they are making no offense pay because they are dialed in. They want that playoff spot. They are playing some really good siege right now, and they are well deserving of the flawless rotation. So to be back to the top floor we go. And this is where hopefully, for no offense, they can make some adaptation. They can get the buck in below and they can actually get some vertical gameplay going because that was the thing that killed them on this top floor last time around.
Yeah, that is it. You go round to this site a second time and you have a round's worth of learnings in your pocket now. You have a better expectation of what the defense are going to do. You know what you need to bring, what you don't need to be bringing here. It's that experience that can change out how these rounds may play a second time ago. Because Selam Guns, this time was played, it was really one-sided. MolotovGang just sort of stormed through it, and, well, one of the players over on the side of No Offense is going to be dropping as just returns, and Brax finds an opener. What is going on in the top right of our screen? This game is...
they felt bad for him, Travis. They felt bad for him. They were like, for 5v4, too easy, even though we lost. So, like, we'll even it up and see what happens. But then the spawn peek from the Goyo as well to shut down the striker is not a great way to start the round. So in a blink of an eye, we are going to be left in a 4v3 situation. Advantage to MolotovGang once again.
Yeah, and MolotovGang, look, they can just play this one for trades. We know they can play that game. They've got a much more standard look at this top floor here with the smokes and the Goyo placed towards this window. C4 doesn't quite do the job, but it doesn't help to throw it out there either. They can just play this comfortably. They've got 2 minutes to do so. The vertical, yet again, is gone for the side of No Offense. They've not really got a lot of options here, but to try and brute force it, and that's exactly what MolotovGang are going to want to be playing into.
Prize spent 2.5 minutes on this window last round. It seems like he's going to be employing a very similar strategy once again. But with these remaining No Offense players, they need to try and find a pick somewhere. Try and use any bit of information you can to try and isolate any of these picks to try and salvage the round. The round is not over. You've still got a lot of time to work with. So try and identify if you can get a trade anywhere. There's 3 of you left. You've got to work together to try and make something happen. Because unfortunately for this Grim, nobody is going to peek it. The pressure is on the attack to make something happen, and MolotovGang are very much understand that if they just sit there and don't do anything, they will win the round easy peasy.
Exactly. And guess what? That's exactly what they're doing. They're just sitting there patiently waiting. And I don't think Prize has got the memo. You're on the attack. You have to be the one to make the move in there. And despite that smoke on the desk might be looking the wrong way right now, the minute you hear that hop in, they're just going to turn around, go the other way. And, oh no, is Gold about to walk into this window spot. You can see, no offense, they want to eyeline this one up. But with none of the prep work done, you're not going to be able to make this hop in happen. You can see Gold is supposed to be your cover from below, but it's completely unable to do anything. Rise does eventually catch one back on the swing, so we are 3 versus 3. But with this vertical still unavailable to be used by No Offense, they're going to have a really hard time cracking this site wide open. Ooh.
And that's going to be Goyo to find one below as there's 30 seconds left on the clock. Smoke can just keep stalling the time here. He's got one smoke prep for when the jump in happens to deny this plant. He's got another smoke in the back pocket too, as Fenrir smokes back to back to try and make something happen. But Diz, the Goyo did fall below. They are now going to be back to back trying to hold on to this site. The free fire coming in is not going to find anything, as Grim with the smoke is going to get denied. As we leave ourselves in a 2v2, they've got to get this kit down at some point. The cover is there from Connector, but can they get the cross in? The Nomad's going to provide that little bit of space they need, as the kit will go down here. Double edge out being clutch. Twitch on the cover will find one, but they're traded out. Last guy unknown, as he's made his great escape out the window traffic here. He's just going to go for the post plant.
Yeah, and that's it. No Offense getting away with a little bit of robbery there. They're able to get the plant down successfully there. And you can see Aina has no idea what to do because you've got 4 sides of that window. You're not really sure which side that the attacker's going to be peeking at you from. And all Code Dark needs to do is wait it out, not get over aggressive, swing it. Going to go for the jump out, going to get immediately punished for it in No Offense. Finally crack it there. And I'll give it to them. I wasn't too sure on that window hopping. I thought that execute would be a death sentence. But regardless, they stick it out through the utility. They get some really key engagements, and they maybe prove us wrong a little bit with that Nomad pick finally making a massive impact. And it does work for them in the end. They do get that key round over the line. And as well, we return to 5 versus 5.
The main thing is how they've coordinated to take out the mute. I was going to say, Grim had
Attackers need
5
to
Bs in
locate and
pocket with about
defuse
40
as many
seconds
bombs
left.
as they can.
It was finally great to see from him that he's used the Grim Bees to help his teammate from below find that opening kill. And because they found that one kill in particular, it's allowed them to get into the site, to start getting that kit down. They found the bit of space they needed, the double air jab coming in clutch to make sure that they had a bit of space to get the kit down. It wasn't clean, but they got the job over the line. Twitch was there on the cover. They did lose a body to the smoke, but because they worked that man advantage so well, seemingly out of nowhere, really good stuff from No Offense to finally get around on the board. And now hopefully they can sort of carry that momentum into this basement execute.
Yeah, that's it. The momentum here, carrying that one out, is going to be key all the way through. You need to make sure you're getting this second round across the board somewhere over your attacking half. Basement, it's a difficult site to attack, as are they all on Consulate, but it is certainly a great opportunity to be doing so. I'm going to be seeing a similar game from MolotovGang yet again, with this sort of extended hold towards top floor. Just and Ishan going to be up on this top floor, going to be looking to cause some problems for the attack. They do have the tools available to them in the form of this Jackal, but is that going to be enough? Because we've seen time and time again from No Offense, they send players in just straight to their death. They need to make sure these roam clearing operators are being used for exactly that.
Nice work from the Twitch here to get a lot of value. 2 Goyo canisters gone very early into the round. That means when we do get that low time situation, if any, there'll be less utility to stall out the attack. So really good stuff from here. No offense here. They've got the breach open. They've wasted a lot of, deleted a lot of utility as well. But this Goyo on the top floor has been such a nuisance.
Yeah, and speaking of it as well, they may know about the Goyo, but do they know about the Vigil? Well, they do now. Russell's going to be taking them out there. Isan's going to be the one to go down. 4 versus 5. No offense, off to a good start in this round. However, they can't be letting just be isolated these engagements because he's going to take them. He's going to take them both with it as well. A third one lining up, but look at this. They have the idea. They know the Ram's about to walk in, and they're going to take it. Triple for just on the top floor. No offense, are just throwing bodies at them. And it's Gold and Pires, 2 versus 4 now. And sure, they can try and sandwich this bandit, but they're not aiming down the sides. Nikon will get traded back eventually. But what can you do? Stuck outside the breach. Iron's going to close down, and MolotovGang get their 4th.
It's too easy for Goyo, man. He's just found a lovely triple for himself. His positioning is king as he finds 3 lovely kills for his side. And unfortunately, for No Offense, they got the opening pick too. You can just slow down a little bit. Just check that there's nobody else on that top floor. And they should know about the Goyo. Goyo was roaming there last time around. So unfortunately, for No Offense, they haven't been able to adjust to that extension on the top floor as well as we would have liked to hope. But all credit going to the side of MolotovGang, especially to the side, I believe it was just MVG, absolutely cooking with the Vector on that top floor.
Oh, yeah. Just phenomenal job up there. I mean, you were handed it on a silver platter, right? But you've got to have a great player to be able to take those kind of opportunities when they're presented to you. Just no offense. Where's the teamwork? Where's the cohesion? Say, right, we swing this guy 1, 2, 3, swing. That wasn't there. They were going one at a time. And as you can see, they'll just take those gunfights there. MolotovGang, we know how good of an aggressive team they can be. We know they're a team that will like to play these more aggressive spots and get themselves in these gunfights because they're 5 very confident players. If that kill count at the bottom of the screen doesn't suggest anything else, and immediately they're in a really good position to be coming out of this half 5-1 here.
But no offense, they've got something to say about it. They had success on their top floor. Their only success so far in attack was on the top floor. And a little bit of a change in the lineup as well. Going for what looks like an admin over this time around is a really nice adaptation to No Offense. They just didn't have much luck with the CEO take getting the buck in below. So they're going to switch it up and go for this admin take, which I really, really like. Give MolotovGang something different to worry about. They can, go at the problem a little bit differently as they're trying to make their entry into this admin cycle.
That's it. We've had 2 rounds played before this one on this top floor site. Both times you tried that CEO window plant. It's not worked out. So on the 3rd time around, MolotovGang, they think they're going to be expecting it a 3rd time, but no. No, they're going to be giving a different thing a go and going to be trying to see if they can get this one to work. Will they be able to do so? Well, it's all about clearing this admin side of the map first, which you can see they want to be hopping into, but they're having difficulty doing so. They're sending the players in finally. However, you can see here, MolotovGang INET already prepared to meet them here. Really tight angle being held here with the MP7. Elsewhere, as you've got ESA on the dock, trying to hold them out here. They're stalling the attack, and they're doing a good job of it. We've got 1:40 left to go on the clock, and the attack still feel like they're having teething issues getting stuck into this map.
Yep, this mid-floor control, this top floor control trying to be established by the side of No Offense, as it looks like MolotovGang are going to retreat their way back into the site. Nobody playing on the vending machine is a very interesting decision, as now this should give No Offense it all the space they need to start to work and execute. With that Goyo and the smoke on the board, there's so much time waste available for MolotovGang.
That's it, and they've got C4 in pocket, impact grenades as well. No Offense, they really need to find something to open up this round and get a move on, because right now, you could just see, no one's dying, but No Offense, they're just taking damage time and time again, losing the HP, losing the health on the players, and they're running out of options. They're sending utility in, but denied by mute jammers. The Rotero drone's options are limited here, and all you can really do is use it for intel. You are going to spot out the Goyo, but what difference will that make when you're already losing players on the attack here?
Twitch is going to trade one back, and that's going to be Goyo visible through the box, but it's going to be 2 for MolotovGang to find one each, as that's going to leave No Offense short on numbers. The smoke grenades and the Fenrir's coming out are going to give away Nomad's position, as with 20 seconds left, they've got to get a move on, they've got to force the issue, but it's not working out as they're getting completely shut out. C4's flying out as well, as the double crossfire set up on this position, but Twitch is going to find one. Mute's going to get almost punished there as they push their way into sight, but the crossfires are too strong as Nomad gets shut out as well, and it just all fell apart at the seams once again for No Offense on their attack.
That is a massive first half there for MolotovGang. We cannot understate it enough how big of a half that is, because do keep in mind, this is not only is this the map pick of No Offense, MolotovGang in the past month and a bit, they're 1-6 on this map. Awful performance on Consulate, but we're not seeing that today. We're seeing something that books, paper doesn't say at all. A MolotovGang that's aggressive, a MolotovGang that's responsive, a MolotovGang that knows what they want to be doing with this map and are putting their perfection and sending it all the way through from theory into execution. Great half from MolotovGang. 5-1 advantage, and guess what? We can go all the way through this half. They can just win the 2 tertiary bomb sites on their attack, as is the expectation, and they'll close this series out in regulation 7-5. MolotovGang, they are feeling comfortable as hell right now, but the same can't be said for No Offense.
Before we get too ahead of ourselves, Travi, you've got to remember, No Offense are now on the defense.
10 seconds left.
It's not unheard of that teams cannot attack Consulate.
5 seconds.
MolotovGang, they only need 2 rounds, but on a map like Consulate, we've just seen how difficult it can be to get attacking rounds. If No Offense can seize that opportunity, if they can just have if they can have the same performance as MolotovGang on their own defense, then we could have a real game on our hands. And look at this from No Offense. I love the amount of vertical angles they've made. They seem to have a real setup here to repel the attack. So
yeah,
it's not over yet.
No, it's not over until it's over, and you can tell with the lineup that No Offense have been bringing in the setup that they've been doing. They do have a good understanding of this map, and there's a reason why they have picked into it. Have we maybe had to wait 7 rounds before we're really starting to see that? Perhaps, but it's better late than never, and as you said, Amazon, there's no better opportunity than the defense to try and bring yourself back. And I like what I'm seeing here from No Offense. It's really extended hold over towards that. And the key thing is they're putting utility there. Using that castle to really deny the push of the attack and limit their options is a great piece of utility and a great way to use it. And you can see it's already wasting quite a bit of time here as players of No Offense do start to fall back. But MolotovGang, they're still quite got a lot of work to do.
MolotovGang, they've made a really good entry into the admin side. They're going to get the suicide breach open as well. This is lovely control as Castle was getting punished. Seemingly out of nowhere, the pre-fire, lovely stuff from the ace. But just look at the time difference between MolotovGang and No Offense. They've got so much more time on the clock compared to their opponents. 1:30 to attack this top floor is an insane amount of time to punish this defense.
Yeah, it's an eternity. I mean, you can already see Gold's taken some damage, so already MolotovGang are off to a decent start here. And if they can confirm that with an early entry on someone else, get it 5 versus 4, they're going to be swimming, they're going to be floating for the rest of this round here. Utility from the Nomads coming on in. Godar forced eventually to fall back, swings out there, but then it's the 2 huge kills coming in from No Offense. Phaeton going for the run-up, Phaeton going for more. Meister swings out as well, does get peeked out, does get taken down here, and that over-aggression may come to bite you back, because now you're 3 versus 3, and we're yet again on even footing.
And these Go canisters are going to burn so much time to stall out this attack. So this is where it's going to come down to a little bit of a time scramble once all this utility fades traffic.
Yeah, that's it. It's so key about this time management here. ESA really needs to have a big impact from this. But you walk into this objective behind the table, you're in such a difficult spot. You can see the defense have it held, but just has it held better. Makes it a 2 versus 3. Plant is going down. Toxic Fade falls a little short. And they're just going to bait, going to force the swing out. Caught looking the wrong way, but it's going to be Kodar that actually ends up taking down Gold there on the swing out. Gets them down, and now it's that smoke left in a 1 versus 2 here. Cornered in catering. What can you do? They know where you are, but if you can beat them individuals, the SMG-11 will take them. Triple Kodar in the round, but no, looking the wrong way. Nikon's going to take it, and MolotovGang get themselves up onto map point.
It was looking good for the defense. It was looking so good for No Offense, but MolotovGang, they had the difference maker in the Ash. They committed to the execute. They've gone deep. They understood that they can't plot default because of the smokes. They found a little cubby of space on the long desk. Lovely cover from the Ash and from the, I believe it was the Maverick behind. Somebody with that lovely M4 weapon on the cover, letting them get into the site. So lovely bit of composure to understand, okay, look, we can't go for that default plant. That's where all of the defensive utility is pointing. Let's go around. Let's solve the problem. Let's get aggressive, push through long desk. The air jab provides us with the cover we need to get into the site and get that kit down. So a lovely bit of objective play coming out from MolotovGang to claim match point here.
Yeah, and that's it. And such an early map point as well. They've got 5 rounds to play with right now. And if No Offense, I feel we're going to make the comeback all the way through. They needed to come out of this half swinging. And they certainly swung a lot in that previous round. But just coming down to that 1 versus 1 at the end, Kodar unable to clutch up there. And that is going to put MolotovGang on that map point now. 1 mistake from the defense any time through the rest of this half. And that is map number 1, your own map pick, done and dusted. So, but no, MolotovGang, of course, they're going to be looking to close this one out for No Offense. It's going to need to be a comeback of epic proportions. We've seen teams do it at all levels of Siege before. It can happen, but something needs to change if it is going to. Because what No Offense are doing right now, it's not going to work, and it eventually is going to be cracked.
It's a repeat of the top floor as well. Identical lineup coming in here from No Offense to try and defend this top floor. And it's very interesting they don't want to hold admin itself. Their hard line is very much across the break room side of things. Admin is completely free to enter here. So very interesting that No Offense just don't want to contest the entry into admin itself. As why are we nading these castles? We've got breaching charges available on the Nomad. I don't think we need to waste some of this utility to get these open as we start to put some pressure here on the extension.
Yeah, those frag grenades, they're so valuable, and be using them on fairly trivial pieces of utility when you only have 2 of them as well. For MVG, you do have to question the commitment ever so slightly to the utility there. Prioritising what needs to be used when and where is a really important part of this game. Oh, that's huge there, if this can be confirmed, but no! Ida's going to miss the shots. Russell should be able to get away with it, and how about that? The ace gets traded right back as well. And immediately, No Offense, off to a much better start in this round.
Yeah, it's lovely teamwork, as it looks like the Wamai is going to be pinched here into this corner. Lovely extension from him to hold on to this checkers hallway as he makes his great escape. But a lovely bit of teamwork to isolate that ace who's all alone on the suicide balcony. So a really well worked 5v4 coming in from No Offense.
Indeed, but it is immediately going to be equalised back out. They have the understanding that there's a player down below. ESA takes it. Oh, can't quite find Meister, but still, regardless of here, it's 4 versus 4 in a position that No Offense, they should have just held in sight, played the trade game. It would have been a really winnable round. Now, they're losing the OTI drones, and that's a massive piece of utility to be taken off the board here. Final 50 seconds, and right now, MolotovGang, they're just making good, steady progress.
And Ash is doing the same sneaky play once again to try and get herself into place, to get the cover to let this plant go down, Travis. She's just hunting for something.
Yeah, and that's it. You just need that one little bit, that one little kill that is going to give you that momentum to try and win. But I don't think they know about the player that's gone behind the tall table. However, Variox is there for the trade, keeping us level 3-3, keeping MolotovGang in this one. However, they're going to have difficulty with that clock against them, and as well, Aomar to take down just. Variox goes in for the kill, but unfortunately does get traded back. Nikon here, 8-4 for the minute, but unfortunately is not going to be able to clutch up. Pyro's going to be huge up there, massive clutch up with the Echo, and it keeps no offense, sorry, in this one, fighting for at least one more round, and a much better showing from them the second goal on that top floor.
They hang on in there. They hang on in there as they had the crossfires set up, and this is so much better from the side of No Offense. They had the crossfires in place. They were looking much more like a cohesive unit. Seems like they figured out their communications as well to make sure that they're covering each other, to make sure that they've got people covering their backs. So that way, when that Ashe looks to make that tricky play, although she got one, she was traded right back instantly, and that process just repeated itself over and over to give No Offense a little bit of a lifeline in this game.
Yeah, and that's it. You've got to start somewhere, haven't you? You have to start at a certain point. And No Offense, they've learned that they can do it. That round taught them that they can just play their game and it can do it. Question is, they now need to do it first time on every single time these sites are going to be brought. You don't have any more rounds to be learning from. Every round needs to be great from the get-go. You can't go, oh, we've lost the base. It's okay, it's a learning round. We go next. Because guess what? There is no next. MolotovGang 6-2 up on map point here. And as I say, just one is needed. But no offense, I like the lineup I'm seeing here. They're not shying away from the aggression. You can see Russ already on the vigil on that top floor, looking to cause some chaos here. And no offense, they're not shying away from this one, and they are going to be going down. They're going to be going down swinging.
We'll have to wait and see if they can go down swinging to keep themselves in the game, or if MolotovGang can seal them out right here, right now. And it's a much more flexible lineup, or sorry, much more specific lineup, let's say, coming in from MolotovGang. They've only got one vertical operator, but in dropping that second vertical operator, it allows them to bring the flank watch to neutral. Like, it basically means you don't have to dedicate anybody to holding cams or watching that flank, and you can focus solely on using all that vertical gameplay that you create with the RAM. Nice work with the IQ as well to spot out any utility. Also, you can hunt down the vigil with the IQ as well, so a much more varied lineup coming in from MolotovGang compared to what No Offense will bring in. So we'll have to wait and see if it pays out to help them attack this basement side.
Yeah, that's it. And of course, the first step of it is going to be clearing out this vigil. But you can see here, hiding from a drone over towards Magic. It's going to be sprinting across checkers, but they can hear the player coming. And that is massive for MVG to get this one started. Just getting the first pick over towards Rust. And look at the lineup and where the positions of the No Offense players are. They have a couple of players on this first floor. But other than that, there's no more presence on the top floor here for a minute in, just over now. And MVG, they've already got control on the top floor, starting to work down. And sure, they do only have that RAM available to them, but as long as she remains alive, it's going to be quite easy. You can see the defense, they know a losing battle when they see it. And all bar Pires, they're going to be retreating right down to the basement.
Have they got info on the Jaeger? Surely they know he's in here. There's no way, as Prize looks to make his move, Travi.
Here he goes, he's going to get one, tries to find the second, finds three. Eventually he's shut down by Just, but the damage has been done. MolotovGang around that looked ever so promising, gone away in an instant, and now they have to pull their way back through it. You've lost your RAM, you've lost your vertical. Nikon does have some breaching charges available to them. However, those impacts are going to be limited. You're going to have to force a site execute at some point, and all you've got to make it happen is a single grenade. No Offense, Pires coming up huge yet again for the side of No Offense, and it swings them into a very advantageous position here.
But as you say that, MolotovGang have found one back. He's
no.
found two for the quad. Give this man the ace. Absolutely clutching up huge for his team to claim this game, as it's all left down to the Legion in the 1v2. As Legion understands, I think he's got to get aggressive. He wants to make something happen, and he keeps his way up towards yellow here. The BP's going to give him so much information. The swing coming in, won't be able to find it with the first. The shotgun is not the thing you need, as just MVG is just better as an ace to seal the game from him, putting the G8 to work as they claim the first map in epic victory. Just MVG just being the MVP in this game. Brilliant work from him.
That is absolutely huge there from the side of MolotovGang. 7-2 victory on their opponent's map pick. And you can't overstate the impact of that one enough, right? Guns, look at the results recently for MVG. 1-6. I thought for sure that was going to be a map that, no offense, they might have a bit of a rocky time at the start, but as soon as the defense would come around, you have that expectation that they're just going to come alive. They're just going to start absolutely going through things. And we see a little glimpse of it in that second round of that second half there. But unfortunately, every time a new site was brought up, it feels like a little bit of a learning round was needed from the side of No Offense. And because of that, they cost them quite severely, and it ended up costing them their own map pick. And now they have to go to a skyscraper, a map that infamously is one they do not like, one that they permanently ban. And I've got to be honest with you, Amgums, I am really worried for them right now.
Yeah, I mean, no offense, their own map pick being beaten 7-2, it's not good for the confidence either, as it's your map pick. It's a map that your opponents don't really play a whole lot, as you mentioned. So the fact they've brought that out and have absolutely stomped no offense on their own map pick, it's just a little bit insane. As what a way to start off the series. They are looking to confirm themselves in the playoffs. There is no room for error at this level. And we've just seen an absolute masterclass coming in from MVG to kick themselves off against no offense here. So it's just lovely work from them. They've played so well, so deserving of that 7-2 victory, as the team cohesion they put in was just too much for no offense to handle.
Yeah, you could see it across the entire board. Their MVG just simply put on another level on their opponent's map pick as well. And the best part for them is they get to move to their own. We're going to be coming up with Skyscraper in just a few minutes for all you folks at home. So go grab a drink and we will be back in just a few with map number 2 of the day. MolotovGang, no offense. Map number 2 of Skyscraper. We look back a second ago, map number 1 of Consulate. According to the paper, according to the script, it should have been MolotovGang taking it. Should have been, no offense, taking it. A map that, according to everything, is one that MolotovGang struggle on. But that was not the story played out. MolotovGang, through teamwork, through individual play, and through some very, very great siege, were able to take it and, no offense, beat out 7-2 on their own map pick. They now head to the permaban of their opponent for redemption, for a chance at sending us all the way to map 3 of Lair. My name's Travi. I'm joined by Amguns. How are you feeling after game number 1?
Crazy stuff coming out from game number 1, and this is where no offense, starting out on the defense, need to make the most use of that defensive half on Skyscraper. Maverick is a really interesting ban coming out from them, Travi, to try and make it even more difficult to attack this map.
Maverick ban indeed, and as well, I like the Blackbeard ban. It is one that is a constant between these two. Clash as well, another very common shield ban, and the shields, they're great on Skyscraper, because Skyscraper, I find, as a map, is a very quite horizontal push, quite very much, and it is something where most typical attacking strategies is exactly where shields are going to be at their strongest, so no surprise to see 2 of them getting removed, and for our final one, no offense, getting rid of the Vigil.
Yeah, the Vigil caused a real problem, for no offense, on Consulate. There could be a little bit of a target ban coming out to make their life easier, to let them be able to roam clear. That basically just means that there is no operator left that can counter Deimos as well, which is a really interesting tech. And it seems like MolotovGang, with that clash being banned out, I'm really hoping to see some shields out of them. We haven't seen any shields in the series so far. We spoke about how strong they can be, but it doesn't seem like MolotovGang want to invest in that shield utility. The clash being banned out means the shields are significantly stronger as well. But while we've got a second, I think we should take a look at this defensive lineup as well. Pretty standard stuff coming in here, Travi, for a karaoke defense to kick things off for us.
Yeah, it's a fairly standard lineup coming in here. Obviously, not too much emphasis on the wall denial, as is typically the case on this objective. It's going to be all about stalling that horizontal. You can see it in the bottom left of your screen. Russ and Gold are going to be holding that extended position over towards Office and Exhibition. They're going to be going all the way over there. They're going to be trying to hold that one down for as long as they can. 2 operators that are going to be great for that. The Legion, Goomines in the foot, puts a 5-10 second pause in it every time one of those sticks, as well as the Vulcan canisters cover any retreats in quite a fiery fashion. And of course, you can see there the Frost as well with those hog mats. We teased with them a little bit in map number 1. No one did step foot in them, but you never know what can happen. Things may change.
Yep, and as we move into this round, it looks like we're going to be seeing a Samurai over execute. My skyscraper call's failing me there almost. But it is going to be a cross take coming in from MolotovGang as they look to establish some control, get the buck in below possibly to get some vertical gameplay going to flush out this execute. Extended barrel on the buck is not something you see every day. The recoil on controller being much more manageable means you can start running a bit of an unorthodox attachment. We'll have to see if that pays off as MolotovGang look to make their entry into this side of the map.
Yeah, and that's it. First logic bomb's going to come through to signify that they want to make the push. And they're going to be doing exactly that. Handed them the silver platter, and how about that? ESA takes another. And immediately, MolotovGang picking up where they left off the Consulate. Starting off with 2 massive picks and all of that presence towards that far side of the map, well, it's mostly gone. Alomaister going to be here for playing up towards the shrine here, but yet again, utility coming in from MolotovGang. The players are forced back, and we're a minute in, and they've already got most of the map control here.
Yeah, 1 minute 40. They've got so much control as they start to deal with this little extension towards the drum side. As Dokumi's going to take this initial engagement, try and find something as the pre-fire from the Frost. Try and get something going, try and get a kill back. And he's going to have to fall away. Finally, the pressure is a little bit too much, but just phenomenal entry to punish the early aggression from MolotovGang. They've got themselves 2 frags ahead of it to set themselves up beautifully for this execute.
MolotovGang couldn't have set themselves up better for this one here. They're knocking on the door of the objective, and look at the clock. We've still got a minute and 10 seconds left to play for here. Phenomenal stuff from the attacker. You can see the defense, they're scrambling to watch every single possible angle and every single possible way. And despite being in a disadvantaged position, the one thing I've got to give no offense, they're still swinging. They're still playing with some confidence, and they still don't want to let this one go just yet. However, MolotovGang, they've proven to be able to collapse on these objectives before. They're looking to do so again. Utility coming on there. However, look at this. Alomaister looking to get aggressive. But do you have the idea about Nikon? No, you do not. And Nikon has 2, and it's all down to gold. And how about that? MolotovGang, a flawless to start off skyscraper, and the train just keeps on rolling.
And it's really good stuff by MolotovGang. They didn't rush is the biggest thing. They rotated Ace out towards Geisha to get Geisha open up new ways to get into the site and put even more pressure on No Offense so they're uncomfortable within the site. The reason Frost has felt the need to get aggressive is because there's just nowhere left to go. With Geisha open, with drum control given up, with top shrine not being available to the defense either, there's just nowhere left for the defense to sit. So she's had to get aggressive, been welcomed by open arms into the gridlock and found a cheeky double off the back of it. As MolotovGang, they are giving us a masterclass in how to attack here on Skyscraper.
Yeah, and I have to put something in No Offense right now. They're going to be feeling the pressure right now. They just got demolished on their own map pick, and now they head towards their opponent's one for map number 2. But they should be feeling comfortable, right? Because I look at all of the maps, we've got a now competitive map pool, all 9 of them, and I'm looking at the sides available to these teams. And in my mind, a Skyscraper defense, if I could pick any sides to try and bank as many rounds as I wanted to on, I'm going to be picking this Skyscraper defense. It's probably one of the strongest sides in the game. Normally, this is such a defender-sided map, and we need to see No Offense start this map strong.
Yeah, and hopefully, for No Offense, they can make some adaptations. They just don't need to be quite that aggressive on their roam extension. They can wait for MolotovGang just to make a little bit of an entry, sort of bait them in, and then take the gunfights. As they're trying to contest these longer angles out towards the outside of the map. But MolotovGang were good and ready to punish that aggression. Seems like the mechanics of MolotovGang just being a huge advantage for them at the moment, as they are going to go for this cross take once again.
Yeah, it's the same sort of idea yet again from both teams, but the real difference maker is going to be here, this Warden we're watching right now. Trying to play on below, play on the vertical, but the thing is the attack, no, he's there with the bomb in hand eventually. Just does get taken out there, Alomaister. Just perfect timing there. Of course, Dokumi does have the tablet out, but regardless of the Warden can't get away with their life here. You are losing the Flores early on. Obviously, that was a trade that No Offense was quite willing to take. And it really, for me, it's now all on this Legion here. Can Gold take down any more with them? Yes, he can. Takes down Nikon. And immediately, yet again, it's No Offense now. They're in a much better spot here. Gold needs to just take the man advantage they've got, not give it away from No Offense, and just let them work with the advantage that they've earned themselves. But Gold's going to go swinging, and immediately the round's back on equal footing, but not for long. Pyres takes down Bryox, and it's the attack still coming up a little bit short.
Ishan's having an amazing game, by the way. He's in some nasty shots, but this is so much better from No Offense. They've just waited for MolotovGang to actually try and get in the building, and then use that moment to get something going. It's very unfortunate for the Warden, also for the BO3, as she hit her tablet just as that jump out came in. But this time around, MolotovGang, or sorry, for No Offense, they've done such a better job on their extension to give themselves this advantage in the mid-round.
And that's it. As you can see, the defense, they're just going to hold the positions now. They're just going to bide the time away. They've got the man advantage. They've got decent operators. They've got the fire of the Tachanka to slow them down. The toxic babes to deny the areas. They've got everything they need here. They just can't be given away freely. His army, however, is going to be isolated there by Einer. Great isolation. And the key part is there's no response from No Offense. We're back leveled out, 2 versus 2. And the players of MolotovGang, sure, they're split up, but they should be able to make this one work here. They can take the individual gunfights. Pyres looks to play it close on a tight position, however, droned out, found out by ESA, on again, yet another triple kill, doing a great job of looking to close one out here. Kodarth now left 1 versus 2, sees one of the players, but gets caught swung out by the Dokkaebi. Quick kill for ESA, MolotovGang, yet another great round there. It was off to a rocky start, but they just persevere, and No Offense, it slips right through their fingers.
Travi, the Lord had 20 canisters in his back pocket. Like they have a smoke and a Tachanka to waste like basically the whole round that's left, and Tachanka's kept every single one of those canisters in his back pocket. Surely, as that time starts to run low in the 3v2, you just start firing everything. The Lord and his gadget can be so good at wasting so much time, but unfortunately for No Offense, they haven't leaned into that utility. And MolotovGang, they had live pings on the Azami. They've punished that player that was just a little bit too extended away from the rest of her teammates, and finding that first pick just snowballed them into finding the 3 isolated 1v1s. They basically took 3 different 2v1s to seal out the round and steal it away from No Offense, and that's really got to be a kick in the teeth for No Offense, as that's a round you really should be winning, Travi.
That is such a winnable round from No Offense. The minute that Warden throws disarray and that Legion gets the second pick in that round, that should be round over. You're 4 versus 3. You just retreat the Legion back to site. But what does he do? He swings out again. It is traded back, so it does keep No Offense in the advantage position. But that kind of aggression is what is going to come and bite you back. No Offense, they need to learn when to dial it down, of course, because I feel like the minute they get a kill going, they get excited and just start giving things that perhaps they really should. And that is going to cost them in this one. Of course, they're now going to be trying a different objective here, but does this site over towards Exhibition have the answers for them?
I really like the use of the K tomorrow, by the way. They've identified that they can keep things closed this time around, try and shut out MolotovGang that way, but MolotovGang, they're going to kick things off for us once again, punishing Russell there to get the opening advantage, dealing with the extended roam game. He's just going to try and trade one back, however, but he's going to get stuck in the corner. Does Gridlock have the knowledge? The phone is going to give this position away, as Thicklock, being as thick as she is going to tank those shots, as Verox is going to find one as well. And these extensions are just being punished over and over by MolotovGang here, Travi.
They're just being ripped to shreds right now, No Offense. I mean, we're a minute into the round and they're already being reduced to 2. Pyres and Gold, well, one does have a C4, looking to throw it over, but with limited intel, you're going to just have to do it solely off sound. I don't think they know that there's a player directly behind the soft wall. Pyres does take down ESA, star player so far for MolotovGang, but even then, is that going to be enough? 2 versus 4 now. These remaining defenders are being pressured here. Look at that, Pyres, so cornered right now. And MolotovGang, they're just using the time they've got to dial up the pressure, to isolate these players. They've both been pushed. They've got no more map to run away to. They have to fight for every little bit they've got here. Gold's got them pushed up a little bit here, looking to get aggressive, facing out of office towards the bar. But with flashbangs coming in, you're not going to be able to hold it for that long in the attack. They can just claim what they need. Ryox takes down Pyre, and it's all onto Gold. A low HP Kaid does get one back, but unfortunately no more than that. Just great on the cover there, on the striker, and MolotovGang, 3 in a row in really, really quick succession, and it feels like this map is already running away from no offense here, prompting them to call a tactical timeout.
Yeah, no offense. They are really struggling on these extensions, but this is why we've got to give MVG credit. Generally speaking, it's so difficult to deal with these extensions that the defenses bring, but it seems like MVG have seen it all before. It seems like they know exactly where these key positions are on the roam game that they need to clear, and they are doing a phenomenal job of claiming the space that they want, getting these entry picks in their favor, and just not letting the defense get any trades back and just keep the momentum always in their favor. Keeping the defense under constant pressure of that man deficit is it's just phenomenal to see. MVG, they are passionate. They are locked in about claiming that playoff spot, and their hard work is paying off.
Yeah, you can see through everything MVG do, from the drone in to the actual getting of the kills and the execute itself. Everything MVG are doing, you could just tell this playoff spot means a lot to them. You can just tell they really want to get through here, and it's working, as you say. They're putting everything they've got into the game, and they're getting everything out of it. And no offense, you can tell they're trying. You can tell they really want this as well, but the difference is, it's just not converting through for them. They're not winning the key gunfights. I mean, no offense, as I sort of said, they have not played this map at all recently. It's commonly a permaban, and I'm starting to see why a little bit.
Yeah, it's just not looking good. But there's still 3 rounds left of the half. There's a long way to go in this game, and this is where at any point, no offense can start to get it together. No offense have now seen all 3 of their. Excuse me. We've seen 2 of the primary bomb sites been shown, and this is where no offense. We saw on Consulate how good they can play. They can set up these amazing crossfires and deal with the aggression that Molotov have brought. And I think that's what we need to see more of. Stop trying to be as aggressive and just try and rely on each other a lot more. It seems like no offense are going for a lot of individual plays on the roam game. And I think that's what's being their downfall at the moment. They're getting pinched out too easily by MolotovGang, who are dealing with this roam game. Maybe just try and stay closer together. Just try and hold those crossfires and make things difficult as you can for MolotovGang. Because unfortunately for them, they've been making it too easy so far.
Yeah, so easy for MVG right now. They're just working through it, and they're playing their own game. And then the key is, you can see the strategy that they go into a round with. You can see the overall idea. And with a lot of teams on the defense, especially on Sky, the goal is to change up that strategy, to sort of throw a bit of a spanner in the works. No offense, they're not really doing that. MolotovGang, you can see the idea that they start with, and it's very much often the idea that they finish with their Kodas, trying to get aggressive early on, but immediately it's going to be unable to really get off anything back of that, droned out, forced to retreat. And yet again, MolotovGang, well, they're going to start to look for apply some pressure here, start off the top floor.
They are indeed. There's going to be a cross take once again, as MolotovGang have had great success with this so far, and there's no reason why they shouldn't be keeping this up. A really nice adaptation by the side of No Offense here to bring the Bandit this time around, to make it a lot harder for MolotovGang to get things opened up. But as I say that, MolotovGang, they've done it again, Travi. They've just got away with daylight robbery as they find 2 to shut down the extension once again. As no offense, a 3rd falling too, Travi. It's over before it even starts.
This is just disastrous from No Offense. You're coming out of your tactical timeout, and yet again, from No Offense, the operator lineup is there. They've got a good idea behind the operator lineup, but the kills, they're just losing them, and they're just getting worse. Gold's going to be going down. Pyres has been a shining beacon so far, does get 1 back, but that is all you're going to get. MolotovGang, 4 attacks, 4 rounds in a row, 3 from taking the entire series. This is their own map pick, and they are showing exactly why it is. They are playing so decisively and at such a high level right now. It looks so good on this attack here. And I have to wonder here, for the side of No Offense, where does the answer lie? You've come out of these tactical timeouts. You've played that T karaoke side. That is so strong. You've played it 3 times, and it's just not worked 3 times. Where does the answer lie here for the defense?
Our Robs has just done some of these players so dirty, highlighting that these are like top champ players, nearly top 500 players in the donut factory. You can't be exposing people like this, Max. As that's the thing to mention on that though is, for no offense, if Russell or Kodaf can just wake up just a little bit, if they can just get some of these kills, just get some kills on the board, they haven't even got an assist yet, Travis. They haven't even managed to hit anybody that somebody's killed. All we need is just for them to warm up just a little bit. Show us some of that skill that we know they have for this game to completely change. As if those guys can just start helping, contributing in some way, this game could really change on its head.
That's it. I've casted No Offense before. They are a team that are better than this. I know they are better than this. What we're seeing tonight is not normal from them. They can play better than this. And MolotovGang, well, they're just riding with all the wind in their sails at the minute. I mean, you look at the kills, right? ESA 8-1, Variox 4-1, Nikon 5-2. All of their players are doing massive performances right now, and it's showing in the scoreline.
Somehow we forgot to reinforce the office wall when we are repeating the site, so this is not a bit of strategy. I think they've literally just forgot to reinforce this wall.
They've still got the 2 reinforcements. They've still got reinforcements available to them.
Very odd, but Goyo's going to start to take this initial gunfight, duel some of these people that are looking to push him out, as they're going to keep playing this bar position. They are committed to holding this office area, but it looks like all of MolotovGang are looking to gang up on him.
Yeah, and they are, but then that's the start that you need from No Offense there. Eson, star player so far, going to be the one taken down here, and MolotovGang, a rare thing we've seen from them in this skyscraper. A moment to pause, but they're not going to pause for long. Aina takes down Gold, and look, you can see here, Kodaf wants to go for more. Lesson finally has been learned. We're not going to commit to it. That is a losing battle staying over there, and that could have been an advantage for No Offense, but yet again, they're just oversticking the boundary a little bit here, sticking to these things a little too long, and it gives MVG an opening right back into the round. Russ down below. This could be huge. C4 has been burnt, but it's not a play below, it's just a retreat.
And that advantage that Goyo worked so hard for, completely negated by a lovely shot from the ace, as Striker's going to look to get aggressive. And this is just the timing. They do things in such good time. They've got so much time to make things happen. As Verox is going to punish the Mozzie as well. So it's looking dire now for No Offense. Everything's going to get open once again by MolotovGang, as they've got a minute before they execute.
Yeah, that's it. Plenty of time. All the time in the world right now for the side of MolotovGang. For No Offense, that clock is scary. Sight there, but Pryor is from afar. Does take down Variox, but Nikon keeps the advantage in the side of MVG. Takes down Kodaf, but a rat play from the Mew makes things even back out. 2 versus 2 here, and the Dot tucked away in a corner, but it's the support from Alomeister there. Finds it, but with the Dot taking a lot of damage here, swings around, does eventually get taken down by Aina. This is the closest No Offense has been so far, but Aina 4-0 wants to find this, but cannot. Alomeister coming up absolutely huge for the side of No Offense, as finally on the 4th attempt, he and Karaoke is theirs. But is there anything more in the tank there? Because for No Offense, a 5-1 is not enough. A 4-2 is not great either. But it's a start. It's an opening. It's a possibility.
And this is where I think the damage has been done. Even if No Offense can take this next defense, a 4-2 split on your attacking half is phenomenal work from MolotovGang. It's just insane how well MolotovGang have dealt with the extensions. But for No Offense, you need to make some adaptations. You've never had any success on the extension. So I think at some point, you have to call it quits. You have to say, minimize your losses and just say, look, we need to try something different. Okay, across the first 3 rounds, where you've tried this extension game 3 times in a row on 2 different sites, once you notice that it's not working, you have to change. Because you've just let MolotovGang, unfortunately, get into a rhythm that every round they attack, they know they're going to be dealing with that roam gang. So it'd be nice to see, try and see from No Offense, to present a different set of problems. Maybe bank heavily on more bulletproof utility closer to the site. And unfortunately, because they haven't done that, I think there's too much of an advantage here for this to slip away from MolotovGang.
That's it. They've really done the homework here. And the Sam guns, 4 rounds. That's more than expected. That's double the expectations on attack for a skyscraper. They are doing so great right now, and I feel like this last half here, it's a throwaway. It's a chance for No Offense to try find an answer back into this one. And, you know, I don't want to say it's over before it's over. It could be the start of something, but based off what we've seen from them before, I'm not convinced, if I'm being honest with you. I don't know if they have what it takes to get it all the way. MolotovGang look on fire right now, and it feels like, bar that really heroic play from Alomeister, there's not going to be a lot more in the tank there for this defense, and I feel like it's only going to get worse once the sides do flip.
Well, I'm hoping that they can prove us wrong and they can make this game close for us, as that unlimited OT is an option if we manage to get that far. It's looking unlikely, but we've got the fingers crossed. I'm hoping No Offense can start to get it together. And it looks like they have changed the strat. Prize is going to kick things off for us, but they've actually played a lot more passive this time around. No extension over towards this side. And it seems like they finally figured out that a change in strat might be in order. But Verox is just going to push straight forward. Ballsy play from him to try and find one. If he's got one trapped in the corner, and he's going to punish him as well. So it doesn't seem like they're taking phased by this at all.
Not at all, but it's not going to stop them from swinging it out there, us getting one, but eventually it's just MolotovGang doing what they've been doing best this entire map, coming up huge in the kill department. It feels like however many opening picks you do give to No Offense, but trust me, they've got quite a few of them. So MolotovGang, they just find a way to get it back. No Offense, it just keeps on slipping through. 3 versus 2 now, but Alomeister coming up huge yet again. Once before, can you do it again? No, you cannot, and it's going to be MolotovGang doing something so far unheard of in this game, going up 5-1 on the Skyscraper, and 2 rounds is all that separates them from taking this map, taking this series, and qualifying themselves into playoffs.
The other thing to mention is, unfortunately for No Offense, now the momentum is heavily against them. When you lose that many rounds back to back, it can be really, really tough to keep a positive attitude, to still communicate effectively with your team. But this is where champions are made. If you can dig deep into the tank, if you can keep your team focused, if you can keep your team and give some belief that you can still win this game, anything is possible. And that's what I'm really hoping the guys that are still dropping some kills, you've got the striker as well as the ace, the guys that have been dropping some kills, if they can inspire the rest of their players just to put in that little bit extra, it could be the spark that No Offense need to get back into this game. And finally, we see a shield.
Finally, we see a shield. We've been saying it in both maps, haven't we? We really want to see a shield. They've been out of the bans, the clash being taken off. We thought we were sure we were going to see a shield in that first half, but no, we didn't really at all. Not that MolotovGang needed it, but No Offense, they may find their answer in that massive walking piece of metal. We all know, and some love him, some hate him. Of course, that is the Montaigne. Very valuable operator for clearing through pieces, and you know, I do like the idea behind it. Of course, if your player's not having a great day on the guns, give them a shield, turn them into a walking drone, and let the people who are going to be able to get those kills set them up for success.
Yep, and he's going to be going for a black take that we see here. Try and work the 1-2 up the staircase, get the vertical gameplay going, which is great to see. This could be how we get Russell some kills. You know, get the get the defenders dislodged in the sight. That's quite a mouthful to say. The tongue twister. As MolotovGang are going to kick things off though, as Ashan finds one to shut down your hard breach of all things. So not a great start for No Offense here on their attack. But this is where the Buck now should be able to tear up this floor and help the Monty push up the staircase and put some pressure on the defense.
That is indeed it. That's where the Monty can really start to come on in here and cause some chaos. But, and as well, combine it with that vertical, it's a recipe for success here from the side of No Offense. They do have that man disadvantage to try and work for and try and work with, but it's only a 5 versus 4. It's not over yet. Ooh, almost finding some luck on the Buck there, but not quite enough. But they know where the shield is. They know where this little corner spot is. Not quite able to find anything off the back of it here. And for No Offense, well, for a moment, it feels like a little bit of a stall out here, right? And it's just going to go from bad to worse. The player on repair could be sent falling down. ESA takes it, and No Offense now left to push this one 3 versus 5.
Yeah, and this is where there's not a lot of players, not a lot of ways to get into the site itself, as this take has fallen flat. They've actually reinforced off the rotate as well. Lovely bit of game sense to repel this attack, as Monty's just staring down 3 different guns, all pointed in his direction, as Buck does not feel confident pushing up. But Gold is going to find Ishan, who's been absolutely popping off so far. As that is a little bit of frost that you're seeing through the floor here, my friend. That is a gun barrel sticking out. Surely you find this And it's just not his day today. And that's why you're 1-6, my friend. You've got to be taking those opportunities as the clock's going to keep winding down here in the 4v3.
That is really unfortunate from the Buck. There's no two ways about that. That should have been a 3v. Bandit tries to make the cross, able to do so successfully here. And for the final 30 seconds of the round here, it feels like no offense versus the world here. As you said, Amgun's rotating to reinforced off here. There's so few limited options here. And with the time against you, it's now really the time to be making this massive end of round rotate, because you've not done the road clear. They're still running about. They're still shooting you. And Gold with it all to do does take Nikon, but that's just a consolation prize. MolotovGang, unless they throw it away, something massive here, they're not going to. They're going to take themselves map series points, and one round is all that's going to separate them from that playoff spot. And with the way they're going, I don't think they're too far away from taking it either.
I'm not sure I agree with the play on the Monty. I get the idea. Maybe try and be a bit of a distraction, try and take some of the eyes away from top black, but let your Flores or one of the other guys go be that distraction. I think you have to keep the shield on top black just to give yourself that information on where the players are. But for the side of no offense, they haven't been able to use that information that Monty gives you to great effect. They've walked up into a 4-man crossfire, and that reinforcement being the rotate being reinforced on top black is going to make it extremely difficult to get into the site. The feet holds being king on that top floor. As MolotovGang, they just held their ground, and I've got to highlight Ishan as well. Just absolutely popping off on the Wamai just to find freebie after freebie to give an initial 5v3 advantage. He's been having a wonderful game right now, and that's why MolotovGang are taking 6 rounds to the good, because the players on MolotovGang, they are craving that playoff spot.
5 seconds left.
And every single player is applying their weight right now. Everyone bar just look at the kills on them. Almost everyone's on like a 2k deal right now. It's absolutely ridiculous, the dominance that MVG have had in the kills department throughout this skyscraper. And it's one of these I'm going to be looking at, and I'm going, you're telling me they started on the attack of the skyscraper and that's how they're coming into the half? It's absolutely madness from MVG, and they really deserve this right now. They are playing at such a great level in comparison, and it's working for them. No offense, well, they need to start this round off better. They need to get the players in, and the key is get them in without losing anyone early on.
Yep, and there is going to be nobody over towards this office side. Seems like MolotovGang going for a much less aggressive strategy here to defend this, only extended out towards Drum and Shrine, not playing all the way across into Karaoke and Office, which is, or Karaoke and T, I should say. The only problem is, though, this is going to give free entry to the Monty to let him get in and start to push this extension back. As this is really good work from the side of No Offense to take all of this control within a minute to go, force MolotovGang into the site itself. As the Monty's just going to keep rolling in here, Travis.
He's going to keep rolling in, but elsewhere it's Nikon on the flank, runs down below, gets the prize, then runs straight back away. And that throws everything that No Offense had going into total disarray. You said it, Amguns, and I'm not going to lie, it was a great start to the round there from the attack. But now look at them. They're now scared because there's someone running around behind them, which means that every other member of MolotovGang is now hunting down this shield. They know this player is up on the road. Ishan is eventually going to get taken down, but I fear the damage is done at this point and just cements it in there with a C4. Hello, Meister and Gold. All that remains standing. 2 versus 4. Look at this. They're swinging. They're trying to find it. Just eventually does give themselves away. But you can see it. MolotovGang. Oh, no. That's a double. And that could be the opener that No Offense might need to get this one back.
There's information as well on the mute. So they've got info in the site somehow, but everybody in the lobby seemingly on low HP as these long-range duels taking place, and Gold's going to come out better, leaving Verox in a 1v2 situation. He's going to find the down onto 1 here as it becomes a 1v1 situation. Sledge just trying to make his escape back to his teammate, but that's not going to be. And surely Verox, we just stop swinging and we play the time. With Dokubi on half HP, just post up with the shotgun, but that's not going to be the case as Dokubi's going to punish the aggression. That's going to be a lovely shot from the SMG-12 to shut that down. And that little drone they snuck into sight is going to be key to get that win. But Verox, man, why are we peeking?
why are we I think it's just a bit of overconfidence right now from MolotovGang. I mean, you know what? I'd be confident too in this position if I'm being honest with you, Guns. I'm 6-2 up, coming off the skyscraper attack in half. I'd be very confident as well if I were in their positions. One thing I really do want to highlight so far has been Alomeister, a player, of course, on the side of no offense, of course, currently the losing side so far. But one thing I really want to give that player credit for is that's the second time he's come up huge for his team and clutched up. It's absolutely monumental to have someone like that. And you know, you're sitting there, you're looking at Alomeister, the only player sitting on the side of no offense, currently positive bar gold. Both players there instrumental and monumental in that success of the round there. And it's an attacking start for no offense. We've seen MolotovGang make the attack work, so we know it can be done, but is there 4 more rounds in their tank?
We're going to have to wait and see if no offense can mount this comeback, as it's going to be a office defense once again they're going to have to deal with. And it seems like MolotovGang have actually made a little bit of an adjustment. They've brought the mirror this time around, so a really cool change in strat coming out from them. We know how strong of an operator this is. We have got the Ash to be able to counter this as well. The main question is going to be, though, there is nothing to protect the mirror. There is no Wamais or Jaegers or Arunis or anything of that nature to stop this mirror gadgets being cleared. So if we don't see those cleared later on the round, that's going to really come down to bite no offense in the butt. But with the Ash on the board, there's no reason why they can't be cleared. But Shan, once again, just punishing everybody on no offense seemingly.
Yeah, and that's it. Look, continuing to fish for more as well in this Geisha position, which really is normally the start for the attack. But look at this. Kodath is watching that door like a hawk. Ishan knows this position is there. Swings out, does eventually get caught out here, but you've done the damage. You've burnt a minute of time there. You've done your job to the T, and immediately, for no offense, they've lost to the KB. An operator that for them is a key part of their late round execute, and they're going off the board straight off the bat here. It's a good start for the defense, and for the attack, yet again, going to have to work for this one.
As we get to the midpoint in the round, we're just going to try and hold on to this control that we've established, just trying to punish any further aggression coming in from the side of MolotovGang. But MolotovGang are going to retreat back to the site. And now we've got a little bit of calm in the storm, or calm in the lobby, I should say.
Yeah, a little bit of a calm. I mean, you say that, Guns, there is going to be a storm. It's certainly going to be coming on soon. Only half the round left to play for here, but you can see MolotovGang, they're still holding these tight angles, still wanting to fight over every inch that remains under control for this map. And I think this is the key here. I know, on these black eye cameras, with the yellow pings, with a C4 in pocket, immediately that shield player is going to be the target of this strategy. That is obviously the goal here. Take down Kodath, take down the Montaigne. They are going to be pushing towards Dragon's side, so not going to be able to be taken down by it initially. But look at this, they are playing towards the C4, mirror window, sorry, where the C4s can be used just as well. Below C4 is not going to work out, so Ino's just going to rotate back on upstairs here, and we're going to be seeing an end of round here that's going to be brutal, and it's going to be bloody.
Monty just looking to get aggressive. He's staring down this mirror that should now have been cleared because of the Ash. That particular mirror on his side hasn't been cleared, as Ash used one of her canisters to open up that long angle into sight. So 40 seconds left here. What do no offense have in the tank to break into the site here, Travis? It looks like they've got to go, and it looks like they're going to go right now.
That's it. You've lost that execute operator, so you've just got to push off the merits of what you've got, which is some really great guns on the side. But without the shield, that's going to be a really tall order. And look at this. There's still mirror windows up. There's still utility available here. Just gets a bit aggressive, does get taken down and punished for it. So we're back even 3 versus 3. But with the clock quickly dwindling away here, the attack just have to push in. Nikon on a triple, Nikon on a quad, and MolotovGang with the playoff spot confirmed. No offense. Their own map, it goes wrong, it goes shaky. A 7-2 there, and a 7-2 is all we will see here on Skyscraper. MVG proving why this is their map pick, and they're going to be taking the series in a very dominant 2-0 fashion and going to be getting themselves that ticket into playoffs.
Yeah, insane stuff coming in from MVG. Completely deserving of the victory. An absolute masterclass from them on how these defender-sided maps should be played. Being aggressive, taking it to the other team, never taking their foot off the gas, as it's been a phenomenal performance from them to claim our last spot in the playoffs. So with that 2-0 victory, that is going to be MVG claiming our last playoff spot. So let's take a look at our updated bracket. This is going to be all of your teams that have made it through. MVG claiming that last spot. So After all the Swiss, it's going to be MVG claiming that last spot in our
Yeah,
playoffs.
and they did such a great job to get there. No offense. They're able to go through Cook. They're able to take down Virafly, but unfortunately, in the 2-2 bracket, they're just unable to get that final game over the line. And I've got to give the credit to MolotovGang. It's been a bit of a rocky road to get here, but at the end of the day, they've done the job and they've been able to get it well from the 1-2 all the way towards the 3-2 bracket. MBG, congratulations to them. They will be joining our 7 other playoffs teams here as they, of course, make their way through. And this is going to be great, happy for them, of course. And this is our playoffs bracket here, folks. This is what the secret is. This is where it's going to be double elimination bracket to crown our champion. Guns, what are you feeling about this one?
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how the playoffs go. All of these teams also being very, very deserving of the playoff spot. It's we should have a crazy playoff run for everybody watching. I don't have any favorites. I never like to back any one particular team. I'm sure all of these teams are going to give us some amazing siege as they're all in contention for that ESA Season 10 title. So anything is possible when all of these teams are just performing as well as they are. So we'll have to wait and see, I think, Travi, on who comes out on top. Basically, it's double elim, so they're all going to be looking to get themselves into that upper bracket and give themselves the best shot of winning ESA Season 10 here, Travi.
Yes, a lot of wiggle room here for these, or not a lot of wiggle room here for these teams now, rather. Of course, only a double elimination in bracket. That, of course, does mean you've got that one slip up, you burn through that, and then that is it from that point. It has to be perfection from here on out. Consistency is a thing a lot of teams will struggle to find, and the winner, I feel, is going to be the team that can find that consistent mark, and not just consistently at a good level, but consistently at being great. That is going to be the team that is going to be playing, of course, through, and that is going to be the team to take it on through all the way through. I can't wait to see this all unfold because it's going to be spicy. I've got a feeling there's going to be some upsets in there. We've already seen already. I mean, look at tonight. I thought tonight was going to be a really, really close game, and it just quite honestly was not. So as we look towards our playoffs, I couldn't be more excited with you, Angums.
Yeah, to kick things off for us, it's going to be Team Sync versus Entropy Gaming. We're going to be back on the 5th at my screen being too small for me to read. 6:30 CST, the normal time. It never changes. It's always the same here on ESA. So the 5th of May, get it in the diary. We'll see you then as well to kick things off for our playoffs as all of these remaining teams fighting to be ESA Season 10 champions. So Entropy versus Team Sync. We'll have to see who comes out on top on the 5th of May, as that's going to be the next game we have here on the ESA channel.
Yeah, that one is going to be so, so exciting. Of course, as Amguns has said, we do have a little bit of a break, a week off in between now and then. So plenty of time for these teams to go and prepare, plenty of time for them to go and rectify the mistakes, especially those teams that perhaps only qualified through to 3-2. Now's the time to start cementing that consistency. Now's the time to start leveling up that performance. And we will be back in just over a week's time here with one more banging game. I've been Travi. That's been Amguns. Thank you all very much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, and we will see you in the playoffs.